And hello there, people of the world. As always, welcome to my channel, Sir Koolzalot. You're cool, I'm cool, we are all super cool. So I have been wanting to make this video for a while now, and I finally got the chance. So I get quite a lot of questions from subscribers about the size of the different USB coolers and how much medication or vials or syringes they can hold. So what I did here is I've created a very comprehensive video on this exact question. What I've also done is I've created this video in a way that gives you everything that you need to be able to do your own DIY planning and testing at home with some very simple tools. And I will show you all of this in a minute. But if you want to take the shortcut path, don't worry. You can simply watch this video and you will be able to get most of what you want. That said, if you want to do some DIY work to maybe plan or test different cooler capacities, you will see what I mean in a moment with this video, and I will give you all the little tools and tricks and setup and information that you need to be able to do that. The other thing in this video I did while I was at it is I also get a lot of questions about insulin vials and how many insulin vials can you pack in a USB cooler. So I have the pleasure of bringing this answer to you as well. So in today's video, here you can see all the contenders, all the stars of the show. From left to right, we've got the RxCoolers Mini, also known as the X4 Mini Pro. We've then got the X8 Insulin Cooler. We've got the For All Family Voyager, also known as the X1 Secrets Box. We've got the Voyager XL from For All Family. We've got the RxCoolers Max, which has more recently been branded as simply Pioneer. Then we've got the CHETAITAI. And then finally, the newest product that many of you have heard about is we got the Pioneer Pro, which is also known as the X6 Secrets Box. So let's jump on in and let me show you what I've got. And as always, I have my disclaimers. Here they all are. The most important thing here is just to know that I am independent. I have no sponsorship. I am a patient, and I'm on a personal quest to find the best medicine travel coolers that are out there for my travel needs, and I am helping the community along the way. So to jump on in and kind of give you a little bit of a background, for the insulin trials, there's actually an interesting company called Voyager LLC, and they sell these products called Practi Insulin, and they're basically insulin vials that are for training. So they obviously don't have real insulin in them, but they're configured to look exactly like insulin products, and they're designed to be trainers for like nurses, healthcare practitioners, and so on. So I purchased a large box of these. They're not too expensive. It was about $100 for, I think you get like 80 vials or something. So more than enough to do some packing tests. The other thing here is you'll see a pile of paper and some scissors. So what I did with this is, in order to really get into the geometry of the, let's call it the USB aluminium heatsink, so the tube from the USB lid, I simply used scissors and paper and cut the paper to match essentially the geometry of that cylinder. So it's essentially a cylinder when you wrap the paper around. And what this allows me to do is to get a very precise measurement of, and more specifically, the inner diameter of that tube, because I really want to know exactly how much space I have in that heat sink. But also then it allows me to do very nice sort of head-to-head comparison from one product to the other. So that's sort of the simple setup for that, using paper and scissors, and really just essentially getting the height and what I guess it's the width of the paper, but that what that ultimately represents is the circumference of that tube as it's wrapped around, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'll keep on going here. So this table basically gives you the data for that. So this is what it looks like. So this is my measured data for the circumference of each of the inner circumference of the aluminium tube, and then also each of the heights of the aluminium tubes. And so now you can start to do some calculations and other things like volume and so on. You can pause these tables at any point in time. The data is there. You can do as you wish with it. Actually, I have some really nice slides later on that will allow you to really visualize what this looks like, sort of more dimensionally and geometrically. So bear with me and I'll keep on going. But here's table number 1. This is the measurements that I took for the tube, for the aluminium tube. Okay, so now you're going to start to get a taste of some of the graphs. So this graph here essentially plots the height of each product, the height of that tube, the length or the height, depending what you want to call that, and against the width of the paper, which is the circumference of the tube. And so now you can start to visualize where these different products sit on that spectrum in terms of height and circumference. And as you can see, obviously some of them are quite small, like the X8. We've known that all along. It's a very slim, very compact product. But now as you start to look at the other products, it's a little bit more interesting, because some of them are a little bit smaller in circumference but a little bit taller. Some of them are smaller in height but a little bit wider in circumference, and so on and so forth. So there's kind of a little bit of a mix and match of different combinations of height and circumference. So it's not necessarily exactly clear or easy to distill, well, which one has the best capacity. I think, and what I would say is most likely the one that has the widest circumference, probably as long as it actually cools well, would be the one that's most advantageous, because when it comes to packing, the more you can pack side by side, the more you'll be able to fit in that tube length, sort of height-wise, if that makes sense. So you can probably already start to tease out that perhaps the ones that have the widest circumference are the ones that are going to be the best, but that may or may not be the case. We'll have to let's keep on going here. Okay, so now here what I did was, you can, now that you have all of this information, you can actually calculate the volume of that cylinder. And once you have that, you can then order that volume according, from largest to smallest. So now you can start to get a bit of a clearer picture of which of the products has the smallest and the largest volume. But word of caution here, as I said, just because one product has a larger volume than another, doesn't mean that it's more efficient for packing purposes, because this may be a very, very long product, or very, product that has a lot of height, but you can't really pack a lot of stuff in there because the opening is just not very big. So just sort of keep that in mind. But this is what this is how things fare from a pure volumes perspective. So hopefully you find this interesting. And that's just actually, zooming in a little bit more precisely. And then actually, because when I took the paper measurements, I used circumference, what I also did here was I included the reverse calculation to look at what is the diameter for each of these products. Now, the reason I did that was what I also then did later on is I went and extracted all the data from the retailers and what they were claiming the geometry or dimensions were for their products. So let's keep on going, and I can kind of show you that too. So here's a snapshot of the retailers, and this is the data that they presented on some of their sites. In this case, actually, a lot of this was from Amazon. Some of the products didn't have any published data on the height of that aluminium tube, and then also the width or the circumference, but this just sort of gives you a flash of what I found. Maybe you have more references, you can let me know about that. Alright, so here's what that data set looks like. So I sort of plotted it all out here. So this is what the resellers or retailers are advertising for their products. So you're welcome to sort of pause this. What I found interesting was when you went from advert to advert, there was often little inconsistencies or maybe even errors in some cases. Sometimes they sort of round things up, round things down. Sometimes they had inches back calculating to centimeters. Sometimes they had centimeters calculating to inches and rounding up. So just a word of caution that the data that they published is, I'm going to say, a little bit hit and miss in terms of precise accuracy if you're wanting to do really, let's call it, fine engineering and geometric work here to figure out which USB cooler is the one for you. So bringing that together then, here's the table showing the measurements that I took and all the calculations that I took, and then here is that same table with the retailer data. And so you feel free to pause this and study it at your leisure. Overall, I would say they're not too far off. They're fairly close to each other. I did all of my calculations in centimeters, and then here you can see the retailer had both inches and centimeters, but feel free to sort of reverse calculate that depending on which metric system if you want to use the metric system or not. All fair game. But don't worry, because I've got some really cool graphics that I'm going to show you in a minute that I think you'll appreciate. So some of them are a little bit harder to visualize than others, so bear with me. But what I did here is I've created some graphics that essentially superimpose the different geometric forms of each of the medicine coolers. So in these graphics, actually everything is overlaid. So feel free to sort of pause this slide and study it at your leisure. It's a little bit harder to read, so actually what I've also done is included this more blown up slide, which you can take a moment to read. So here you can kind of see all the different aluminium tube coolers sort of layered over each other, and I think you'll really appreciate this next one, which is everything is organized now side by side. around the centricity of the or the symmetry of each of the designs. So this one I think is maybe one of the, let's call it the money shots for today. This was quite a bit of work to produce, so I hope you appreciate the graphical and the data collection work that went into this one. I'm sure if you're an engineer or a scientist, I think you will. But hopefully this gives you a really nice visualization of where the different coolers stand in terms of the height and most importantly that width or circumference or diameter, depending on which measurement you prefer to go with. So let's keep on going, because now I have a cool video to show you. And so, you know, graphs and data tables can only take you so far. Sometimes you just have to see it with your own eyes. So here we go. I'm going to run through this video as it plays. This is a continuous stream, a continuous video, so there's no, there's no editing trickery or anything like that. It is what it is. And what I did is I've inserted those pieces of paper that I've cut in the tubes of each of the coolers, so you can see them come out and you can really get a feel for how, how much volume each of those tubes have when when you measure them. Now, one thing to note, sometimes the paper may seem to be kind of deeper or more shallower in the tubes, in those aluminium tubes. That's because the back of the tube sometimes is recessed inwards or outwards in relation to the USB lid, but I assure you it was positioned all the way to the back. And then now, as I promised, I'm going to show you this live packing of insulin vials, so you can essentially see very clearly how many insulin vials you can get in each of these products. So for the X8, the count was 3. Oh, and there's that box, by the way, that's full of those trainer insulin packs. So yeah, if you're wondering what that is, there it is. And then now we have the RxCoolers Mini, also known as the X4 Mini Pro. And here you can see the dimension paper. And so now it's rolled out, and you can sort of see, you can kind of see the measurements on there as well. All those numbers and data were transcribed into the table, but that sort of gives you an idea of the size of that tube. And then you can already start to see some of the differences in sizes. So look at that, comparing the X8 to the X4. And then now for the insulin. And notice there how you can actually pack them in rows of 2. So you can do a 2x2, but you can't fit 3. So you can't pack 3 in this one in a row. So it's going to always be stacks of 2x2. And if you're counting there, this is now level number 3 or stack number 3. So I was able to fit 6. And just to show you here, we're at the end there. You can't stack another row. There's not enough room. And then there you can kind of see what that looks like. So a huge word of caution here. Obviously, insulin is glass vials for the most part. Be very careful not to smash your glass vials when you're using these aluminium tubes. Think about maybe putting them in a little pouch or something, or just being very careful, because they are going to be loose in some of these configurations, there's sort of space for them to rattle and stuff. And also that was the reason why they started adding little foam pads at the top and then the little caps at the bottom, because a lot of people actually complained that their insulin vials were getting smashed. And so here we have the Voyager. This is the base Voyager, not the XL. So this is called the X1, is the actual model name. The Bo X1, in fact, is the full model name, but let's call it the X1. So now you can kind of see the size of that, and then you can start to see, look at that, how that's quite wider in terms of circumference. So we're starting to get a little bit bigger and bigger here. And then if you counted, I'm going to try and start this, the insulin vials now. So I've got 6 there on the table. So the question is, how many rows can I get? So there is a count of 2 and a count of 3. So that's just to show you that you can't get any more rows. And now here you can kind of see how they're arrayed. So the rows are 3s, and you can get 3 rows. So the Voyager can carry 9 insulin vials. And of course, now that we've done the base Voyager model, let's bring out the big brother, the Voyager XL. So I'd already removed the plastic cap at the base there, just for video convenience. And then now you can kind of see the size of that tube definitely starting to get more substantial. Now these little paper sheets are obviously not so elegant to read data-wise, so I would refer you back to that slide that has the actual side-by-side graphs. You know, you'll be able to really just appreciate that. So now the question is, how many insulin vials can one get in here? So 2, 3, 4, oh, look at that. So something interesting happened as I was doing this. I realized that it's getting a little bit more fiddly to pack these USB tubes with the insulin vials. You have to take a little bit of time to get the position of your row right, so that it sort of fits in a nice tidy array. I would recommend practicing this a little bit before you try it live, especially if you're wanting to keep your meds cool. Alright, so there you go. For this one, the Voyager XL, you can do a row of 4. Sorry, so you can fit 4 in a row. Make sure I say that correctly. Oh. But now I'm thinking, maybe we can do something better. So I'm going to try this one again. So what I noticed was I was able to do a very nice, easy pack there, but in a very specific position, you can actually fit 5. It takes a little bit of finessing with the position of the insulin vials, but if you get the pattern just right, you can actually fit 5 vials per row. And so I'm gonna sort of try this again and show you. So watch this. Unfortunately, the video is a top video, so you'll have to bear with me a little minute. But when I show you how this looks from the top, you will understand. Now, although I was able to do this, of course, everything here was at room temperature, and so one would need to be very well prepared if they wanted to try and do something like this with refrigerated insulin. Just something to think about there. And there it is. So if you get it just right, you can actually fit 5 insulin vials per row. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shimmy that row downwards to make space for the next row. Now I was trying to decide whether, because this was my first attempt at this, that was the reason that it took me a little while, or whether it was kind of just naturally quite a fiddly little thing to do, and to just advise you to be well prepared and be cautious here. But anyway, at least you know the theory of how much one can fit in this heatsink tube. So now I'm going to start working on that third row. So look at that, it's getting there. You can kind of see how fiddly it is. Noting that the Voyager X has a little bit of a rim, plastic rim thing, and that also creates a little bit of an obstruction as you're trying to pack this. You have to sort of tease the vial past that sort of cap rim at the end. Now, if you lost count, actually the count here is 15, which is quite incredible. So the Voyager XL, I was able to get 15 insulin vials in that tube, stacked in 3 rows of 5. Yeah, so that's pretty impressive. But as I said, this was kind of theoretical, just to see how many you could get in there. I'm a little bit on the fence about how practical that is. whether it would be better just to stay with 12, so 3 rows with 4 per row. So something to think about there as you're planning your journey or travels. Of course, the fewer vials you have, the more loose they would be, so there could be some packing advantages to having a tighter pack. And then now we're moving into the Max, so the RxCoolers Max, and I have the bright magenta model. I thought that color was hilarious. And I actually forgot to write the product name on the paper template, so let me get that in there so I make sure I got the right data. So the question now is, can the Max beat the Voyager XL? So the Max is interesting because the base of the aluminium tube also has a cap, a rigid plastic cap holder that you screw in, and there's a little plastic rim that stays with the aluminium tube. But it's a little bit thicker than the other ones, so the entry space is a little bit smaller, but actually the tube itself is quite big. I think it might have been one of the biggest, but the entry part has this plastic piece that is much smaller in diameter, so you have to do a little bit of juggling and shimmying to get your product kind of into position, but not impossible. Just sort of interesting to note that. And so now I'm on my way here. Gonna try and pack this one. So this one I found a little bit easier to pack ultimately than the XL, and I think that was because ultimately it was slightly wider in geometry, the sort of the diameter, so it was just a little bit easier to pack this. But then I was debating to myself that maybe the packing of the XL gave me a little bit of training, and so I was a little bit more prepared this time. I don't know, maybe it was a bit of both. But as you can see here, the thing that I'm really putting most of my energy towards is just working past this little plastic rim that's for screwing in the cap. You sort of have to shimmy your product past it, but once you've achieved that, it's you're kind of in business. And there you go. So that one's all packed up, and then here's what it looks like. So it's a pretty nice pack. I was, I think from an insulin vial perspective, this was the one that had the best capacity and was the easiest to pack. So just a heads up on that. And if you lost count there, this one also was 15. You could fit a nice array of 3 rows of 5 basically. So I'm going to sort of shuffle these together there so you can get a quick visual. You can kind of see an easy array there to kind of quickly count. They're quite fiddly, these little vials. There you go, on the RxCooler Max. So we're nearly towards the end now, not long to go. There's a couple more stars to show you. So now we have the CHETAITAI, And so this is also quite a sizable USB cooler. It has a more of a chrome heatsink that has this sheen. It's a little bit different surface texture. It's kind of cool as well. So here you can kind of see I'm continuing to collect all the measurement data. Actually, I did all the measurements before I made the video to make sure I got them spot on, and then I inserted those cards. Alright, so here we go. Let's see what's going on here. So are any of you counting? I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. This one's not going to be as impressive as the Max and the XL. Yeah, so there we go. So if you were counting there, we have 12. So not too bad. 12's pretty good. But it's not 15, depending on what you need. And the newest addition to the collection, we can't ignore this one, huh? So the X6, also known as the Pioneer Pro. So let's see what this one can do. So if you're reconciling some of the earlier data on the tables, the most obvious thing to bring to your attention is the diameter or circumference. In the end, that's really the thing that's going to be the most powerful factor in how many pens or vials or whatever your plans are, you'll be able to pack, because that's going to drive how many you can fit per row if it's vials, or how many pens you can stick sort of side by side. And frankly, the height of the aluminium tube, whether it's 15 or 16 or 17 or 18 centimeters really doesn't matter in the grand scheme, because none of these products can essentially get past 3 rows. If you want a product to be very long and very thin, you're going to need it to be able to have enough height for a 4th row. And as you can see here, a 4th row is going to require maybe a good extra 3 or 4 centimeters for vials. And then for sort of a pen or an auto injector, if you want to have 2 rows of pens, that's quite a massive length addition. So hopefully that starts to give you kind of a more of a dimensional visualization of how this sort of plays out in practice. So the more the wider the the wider the USB tube, the more you're going to be able to pack ultimately in sort of a head-to-head comparison. So if you're counting there, the X6 also holds 12 insulin vials. Yeah, so there you go. So that I think basically completes the insulin sort of test, but also I think what I was going to do here was to sort of quickly show you those paper cutouts just arrayed on the table here, so you can sort of take a moment just to visualize that. But as noted, I made some very clean graphs of this as well, you know. So those and just a heads up, by the way, the graphics that you saw where the dimensions of the coolers were overlaid and then side by side, those were not let's call them, you know, PowerPoint picture graphics or editor graphics. Those were actually plotted graphs. So those are very precise data graphs showing the dimensional differences of the different coolers. So I would you know, please refer to the graphs to get a really good set of data if that's what you're looking for. But anyway, here's sort of a visual peek at that. So those were all the cards that I'd cut out, and then unfortunately I didn't quite have enough space to fit the little X8. I was trying to find a nice spot for him, but I didn't want to cover too much information. So yeah, he's just gonna have to hang out down there, I'm afraid. There you go, the little X8. All right, so that's that. Let's keep on going. So here's sort of the, I guess this is sort of brings it all home, all the data. So here you can see all the measurements. You can see the calculated diameters, and then of course now you can see the insulin vial count. So the RX Mini was 6, the X8 was 3, the Voyager was 9, the Voyager XL was 15, the RxCoolers Max was 15, the CHETAITAI was 12, and the Pioneer Pro was also 12. So there you go. And then in just bringing it all home, here is that graphical view of the heights and widths of all those products. This is not a picture graph. This is actually a plotted graph, so it's extremely precise. So you can see exactly how that looks. And then there's all of the insulin counts on the bottom. If I may also ask you, if this video was helpful to you, please take a moment to give it a like and also subscribe to the channel. I'm really hoping that I can build some momentum now to take this channel to the next level with YouTube, with more subscribers and more likes. You can take videos and channels to the next level. It has more offerings and other cool stuff, and I'm really hoping to get there. So if you're able to share it or like it or just subscribe, I would be most obliged. I wasn't planning to ask, but I want to say that these data graphs and this work is quite substantial. It's many hours, and so it only takes a few seconds to do a little click. So please give me a little click. Thank you. All right, so we're at the end of the show. The Discord server is growing strong. Every so often a new member joins. I'm so sorry if the QR code links stop working. I think I've mastered the QR code link that never expires. Here it is. Maybe, I don't know. If it is, then just send me a message and we'll get you set up with a new one. But anyway, yeah, please come and hang out with us. There's a lot of cool chat going on, talking about products and travels and different things. So hope to see you there. And that is the end of the show.